All right, man. Bruce, it's great to see you. I want to tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about you. You're a native of New Jersey, finished high school in York, Pennsylvania. You played quarterback for 4 years at Virginia Tech, 71 to 74. Your head coach in your senior year was our mutual friend, Jimmy Sharp, who had just come to Alabama after a long career with the Tide, first as a player from 58 to 62, and then as a coach from 63 to 73. You stayed in Blacksburg for 2 seasons as a GA, then spent 3 years, 78, 79, 80, working for Bob Tyler and Emory Bullard as running backs coach at Mississippi State. You were on the opposing sideline in 1980 when your Bulldogs upset our Crimson Tide 6-3. That loss still hurts, but then the next year came the chance of a lifetime for you when Coach Bryant offered you the opportunity to join the Alabama staff in 1981 as running backs coach. And after Coach retired at the end of the 82 season, you went on to Temple as head coach for 6 seasons, then to Kansas City for 4 seasons, then back to Mississippi State as offensive coordinator for 3 seasons, then to the Saints for 1 season as tight ends coach, and then you came back to Alabama in 1997. It was short-lived. It lasted 1 season. We won't get into the details. Back to the NFL, and between 1998 and 2011, you coached for the Colts, the Browns, the Steelers, then back to the Colts in 12 when you were offensive coordinator, and then when Chuck Pagano fell ill, you were the interim head coach. You were head coach Arizona Cardinals from 13 to 17. Then you retired for 1 season, but you found you weren't quite ready to retire. And in 2019, Tampa Bay lured you back. You served as head coach of the Bucs from 2019 to 21, and with the help of Tom Brady and Gronk, won the Super Bowl following the 2020 season. And then in 2021, you retired for good and spend much of your time playing golf and running your Arians Family Foundation, which we'll get into in a minute. And Bruce, before we get started, when I met you in early 1982, when I started in the alumni office, we, as I mentioned, had a friend in common, Jimmy Sharp. I had gotten to know Jimmy and Ann in Gadsden, where I was between graduating from Alabama and starting in the alumni office. That's when he went back to Gadsden and was in the chicken business for a while. And I remember in January of 82, at some point, meeting you. You'd been there a year, and I was in chapter development and traveled to just about every alumni chapter in the state, hauling a projector and a reel-to-reel film called Nothing But a Winner. Now, that was the original Nothing But a Winner.
Sure.
There's the other one that's out now or will be out, or was out recently. The original one was about a 30, 40-minute motivational film that Coach Bryant authorized, had a guy interviewing him, and you were in the film several times, and you actually traveled with us some to alumni meetings in 82, and we would show that film, and you'd be the speaker. And they had you in there with some clips from the practice field from the year before. But, man, thank you so much for coming on, and it's our honor. It really is to have you.
Well, it's a pleasure going down memory lane, that's for sure. There's some great times, coming over. It was a shame because my good friend Perry Willis had gotten sick.
Yeah.
And we were together at Virginia Tech, and that's how that running back job came open. And so Jimmy had a big hand in it. Something to Coach Coach. And if people remember that the passing game in Birmingham, I guess, with Marty McDowell and Dave Marler, was really the thing that got coach's attention, more so than the running back stuff.
Yeah. I'll start. You joined Alabama staff in 81, as I mentioned, as a running backs coach under Coach Bryant. What was it like stepping into the storied program of the University of Alabama. We just come off several straight SEC championships, the 2 national championships. Probably should have won another one in '77. But how was it to join Coach Bryant and the staff?
It was amazing. Guys were so warm and welcoming. Bobby Marks and Dee Powell and Mel Moore, Jack Rutledge, and everybody that was Brian Poole, everybody that was there on the offensive staff and the whole staff. Everybody just greeted me and welcomed me with open arms. And it was a very easy transition. The hard part was it was after spring practice. So my first real out on the field. We're in training camp, and learning how things were being done. And I love telling the story. One day the running backs had a bunch of questions, and we met up at my office. And I mean, we're talking, we're going. It's one of the best meetings we ever had. Miss Linda knocked on our door and said, "Coach, you're all not going to practice. It starts in 5 minutes." Oh boy, here we go, boys. No stretching. We're gonna meet at the bottom of the tunnel. Get your shit on. Let's go.
Coach, what were your first impressions of Coach Bryant, especially him as a leader? And, you've been around a good bit at that point. How did he differ from some of the other coaches you'd worked with or other, the folks that you'd been around in leadership?
Yeah, he was totally different, and that he ran the show as far as personnel, and nobody thought about putting in another player during a game because Coach handled it all the way to the Liberty Bowl, and but yeah, it was very unique. I mean, it wasn't hard as far as learning offenses because it was basically the same, the wing-bone and the wishbone, and we incorporated some of the wing-bone that year, and my hat's off to Emory Bullard because he's one of the brightest guys I've ever coached with. And he was pissed at me for a long time for leaving. And I said, "Coach, I don't think I can be a head coach from here. And I think I can be from there." And the next time I saw Coach Bullard was 2 years later, and I was the head coach. So he let everything go waste. You did the right thing. And yeah, Coach was amazing. I mean, and how he handled everybody because, I was cocky. I thought I knew everything. He just loved ripping my ass. I mean, just love it. We're going to staff meetings. Okay, how the offensive line play? Oh, they played pretty good, Coach. And okay, how the tight ends play? How the running backs play? I said, well, we fumbled twice, Coach, and it was not our best game. We didn't block very well. Yeah, people watch the damn film. I don't think you're not the greatest film. Oh, my team would be coming on my ear. Coach Curtis. Meeting be over, I shoot right in his office. "Coach, how you want these guys graded?" He just pat me on the back. "You're doing fine, son." This goes on for about 3 weeks. I said, "Coach, obviously I ain't doing something right. Right? Because tell me what you want this damn grades." He never said it again. He just checked and see if I was going to keep coming back in there.
Oh, that's great. Rick, we'll get back on track here.
Okay, you want me to go on and take that next one then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, let's do. All right. So, Coach, while you were at Alabama, you had a pretty incredible backfield there. I mean, you had Paul Caruth, Ricky Moore, Lenny Patrick, Joe Carter. I mean, that was a stacked backfield.
Oh,
What stood out about that backfield to you and the guys that you got to work with during that season?
they all pulled for each other, and everybody worked on every field. So whether you were greens or reds, whatever you're on, you were getting the same practice everybody else got. I might not be coaching you that day, but the depth that we had, and I go back to Kentucky. We should be killing Kentucky, and we're losing. We're on the 2-yard line coming out, and we got 2 4-string running backs in there. I said, "Mal, what are we doing? Coach, what's he doing?" He said, "He ain't saying a word, first of all." And one makes a great block, the other one makes a great catch, and we get out to the 20, and here come the Stallions. We got to win the game. I never question him again. But boy, yeah, they were a great group of kids, and scared me to death. I had them over at the house cooking. We had a little cookout, and I had the springiest damn diving board. And Kenny Simon went off that. I thought he went into the yard. He must be out there diving board. I ain't gonna take it up. Don't worry. I feel good money all down here in the diamond.
Amazing.
The 82 season. Tell us when, of course, a lot of these coaches that you were coaching with had been with Coach Bryant for a long time. I mean, a long time. And they may have sensed something, but you were still relatively new, having been there 2 years. But in 82, season started off great. I know we beat Penn State, like doubled them up 42-21 in Legion Field, and they ended up winning the national championship that year. But then things started unraveling. And at what point did the staff realize that this may be it for Coach in terms of his getting near retirement or hanging it up? Do you recall?
I never once ever thought it would happen.
Yeah.
And he made the statement, if I retire, I'll be dead in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, he ain't going anywhere. And I guess when the politics were all played out and Ray said he would take the job, he decided he would step down.
Yeah.
And it shocked me. And I mean, I know it had to shock everybody else, but I think everybody thought they would be taken care of. And the next morning, wake up in the newspaper, and these are staying and these are going.
Yeah.
And that was a hard day because Mal and Jack and all the guys that have then been there forever, they were gone, and my picture was up there staying. And I told Ray, I'm going after this Temple job, but I'll stay if I'll coach quarterbacks if I don't get it. And that was a very hard day.
What about the Liberty Bowl? There had to have been an immense amount of pressure on y'all and the players to win one for Coach Bryant.
Yeah, there was no way you could lose that game. I've only feared losing twice in my life. And Coach Bryant's last game. And when Chubb got sick in Indianapolis, Jim Mercy told the team, we're going to beat the Packers and take the game ball down to the hospital. The players, okay. Yeah, that's an easy one, baby. And somehow, some way, Andrew Luck takes us down the field, scores touchdown last play of the game. And I just sat on the bench and cried like a baby. And they took Chuck the ball. And after that game, I don't remember celebrating that much. I just remember an unbelievable sigh of relief.
Yeah.
That won his last game.
Yeah. Coach Kroom has said that he's never been in a game that was more intense and that every player put, 100%, every play, every block, every tackle, every catch, every throw, that it was almost desperation in that Liberty Bowl.
Illinois was super talented. I mean,
Yeah.
They were unbelievable. People didn't realize how good they were. I mean, they have about 7 or 8 NFL players on that team.
Yeah.
We're talking about pressure that night, but coaching Alabama, there's pressure all the time. Expectations are high, lots of tradition. What did coaching at Alabama teach you about handling pressure and expectation?
Yeah, it's so different at each school. And there it's 365, 24/7. I don't care if you're vacation in Cancun or I'm going on to baby. I was like, it never stops. It never stops. And so it teaches you a lot about that. But I mean, you got to embrace it. You got to embrace, hey, I'm coaching at the world champs right here. Right. And don't shy away from it. Don't let it eat at you because then it'll consume you. But if you embrace it and love it, there's a lot of room to stick your chest out. Say, I was at Alabama with Coach Bryant.
Yeah. All right. After you got the Temple job, at some point, I don't know what time of the year, the Liberty Bowl was late December of 82. And had you already interviewed for it?
Yeah, I was one of the Final Four, and Rick Dopton, the big writer from Philadelphia, knocked on the door, wanted to know if he could come up to the room pregame and said, yeah, come on up. And he said, I walked in there and I could cut the tension with a knife. I said, I told him, this how big the game is. And he got a feel for it. And a great sports writer wrote a really nice article about it. But it was about, we got back about 3 days and coach came down the hall and said, you heard anything from those people up there? I said, no, sir. trying to decide what I want to do. He said, well, they're going to call me sooner or later. You want that job? I said, yeah, 'cause I want to be a head coach. He said, yeah, if you want to be a head coach, you may never get another chance. And he said, that's a damn good job. So it wasn't 45 minutes later. And you know, something really good was that when he come whistling down. He was whistling. He was down there dancing, coming down the ring. He stuck his head in, raised his head and I said, boy, you want that job? Yes, sir. You got it. Hey, they called us.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, even after moving on to Temple, and beyond that, well into your NFL years, did you stay connected to Alabama and follow its rise, like under Gene Stallings and Coach Saban and all that? I mean, I know you probably came to Pro Day quite often, but tell us about your days in the NFL and staying in touch with Alabama.
Yeah, different guys would come back on staff that I was really close to.
Yeah.
You know, and they gave me a reason to root for him and cheer for him. And Joe Pendria was a dear, dear friend. Came back with Nick and Joe's offensive coordinator in Kansas City now when I was a running back coach, and really helped me tremendously in the NFL. And so I said, I'll do anything you guys need. Just let me know. And he brought the offensive staff up to Pittsburgh that year. I think you're all but at Virginia Tech, maybe in Atlanta, in the kickoff class.
Yeah.
And the Virginia Tech coaches had been up already. And I gave them the same damn play. They didn't put it in. I gave it to Joe, and about the fourth play of the game, there was for a touchdown. Julio, Cam, I love Cam Chancellor, don't get me wrong. One of the greatest safeties ever, but he can't cover Julio. And this one formation, he had to cover Julio. And so it was like, yeah, whatever I could do to help. And came back over, played in the golf tournament one year when Daniel asked me to. And yeah, I take a lot of pride in being a part of it still.
Yeah.
Those 2 years.
Yeah. Those 2 years. I know where you're going there.
Well, hey, I'm going to jump in and take a quick time out and just tell folks, if you're enjoying this walk through Bama history with Coach Arians, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and share this with your tailgate crew and post it on your Bama chat group. And let folks know that we're building a community of Crimson Tide history lovers just like you right here. And Tommy?
Yeah.
Go on.
Back to your days at Virginia Tech. When Jim Sharp came your senior year, had y'all been running the Wishbone already, or did he implement it from scratch?
From scratch. We were a throwing team. Don Strock had led the nation.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
2 years. And I backed up Don, and it was a total culture change.
I'll bet.
mean, I love telling the story. Charlie Pell and the defensive staff, Jimmy had such a great staff, 4 head coaches on that staff. And between Nelson Stokely, Danny Ford, Charlie Pell, and me. And so it's like, we had this All-American defensive end, end up going to Steelers, and we're running the Wishbone, and we don't block him, and he just blows the fullback. I'd pull it out right around the corner, and he talked with a little list. Yeah, Coach Don, who's blocking Tom Beasley in this offense? We don't block him in this offense. We read him. Yeah, I think don't play defense. Because Beasley was killing his tail every time he came up the middle. But it was, and I got to know that this was an offense that ran properly, couldn't be stopped.
Yeah.
You know, it gave undersized, under-athletic guys a chance to win. And no better person than Jimmy, the most positive person I've ever met in my life. And, you know, we had Charlie Coffey the 3 years before. Now, fortunately, we had Dan Henning on offense for a couple of those years. Dan was super sharp and was a passing game guru. But Jimmy had a way of making us believe we're going to win every game. And we were terrible. I was bigger than 3 of my offensive line. I was a quarterback. Like, this damn offense better be good because we ain't blocking nobody.
Well, you had thrown it all over the field. Like you mentioned, Don Strock. I mean, he set all sorts of records. I cannot imagine the culture shock for y'all come spring practice. And Jimmy's putting in the wishbone for the first time. I mean, I've talked to a lot of our 1971 guys who did the same thing, and they didn't implement it until August. And we then upset Southern Cal in '71 out on the West Coast. But how did I mean, is the wishbone for college? That's your number one offense, right? I mean, how did that shape your offensive philosophy for the rest of your career? Learning the wishbone.
I was a passing quarterback. And when we were a passing team, I was running quarterback. When we were running team, I was passing quarterback. But the things that all the coverages you had to read in Dan's offense, they were gone. They play 8-man front. It's the single coverage every play on the best wide receiver. Let's just get in this formation. I thought to end the whole game. So, we couldn't do this in another offense. And Jimmy goes, we want to establish the run. I said, nobody can cover that guy out there now. I'm just throwing it out there, coach. Nobody can cover him. And but yeah, he incorporated the passing game. I actually drew a playbook up of some of the things that we did with with Dan and gave it to Jimmy. And we created an unbelievable bond. Chris and I ended up babysitting for them. He took me under his wing like nobody's ever done. And that's how I got to Mississippi State. We got let go at Virginia Tech, and then he went down with Bob, and I followed him down there and put the passing game in because Bob wanted to throw the ball, and they had been wishbone. And so, yeah, it all goes back for me. Two people, John Devlin, coming out of my senior year in high school, I got kicked out of high school. And John Devlin was the only man that kept recruiting. He knew my mom and dad, he knew my family, he knew my whole history. And so I couldn't sign that scholarship fast enough. And then Jimmy comes in and changes. He told me, here's what you got to do. First time I met him, I was in his office for 3 hours. He said, you got to lose 20 pounds first. All right. Come back out. If you can't help the team in 10 days, I'll let you know. I'll get you a high school. Well, I had already applied for 2 junior high jobs. I got turned down. I'd have taken them. All this would have never happened. And one of them was in my hometown.
We wouldn't be interviewing you right now on the podcast.
I couldn't.
We hadn't had many middle school
get a junior high
coaches.
job in my hometown. And it's okay. I better try to lose this 20 pounds. So I go back out, and they're going. These guys have been working out winter workouts back then. Everywhere they were just killers. Yeah. If you're a month behind, you got no chance. So I'm about ready to tap out, and he pulls over, taking me. You think you make these last 2 stations? Yeah. He did every day. So I lost that weight. He could make all the stations. Just kept his eye on me. And as soon as he thought, and a couple of coaches trying to run me off, they really didn't want me around. And because I was a bartender, I was all the things, and yeah, $1 an hour, all you can eat. That's a hell of a job back then.
Plus tips.
Yeah. They get the tip to the girls, but at least it was here. Well, I came back out, and I walked in his office. He said, "No, you're the starting quarterback. You'll be starting quarterback unless you break your leg." And that's the way it was. I mean, he just treated me that way for the rest of my life. Man. He truly is my second father.
What an incredible story. What an incredible connection. And Coach, this is the question I'm gonna nerd out on, because I think, when I look at your career and especially being a wishbone quarterback and the opportunity to be able to coach and to work under Emory Bullard at Mississippi State, that's like a PhD in the wishbone, right? What did you learn from him? What are the big rocks that you took away? And maybe even outside of the wishbone offense, what did you learn from Emory Bullard as a man and as a coach?
consistency in life, what you do every single day. But Emory was a genius. He did everything on grass face. When he designed the wing bone was the wishbone to the open 3-foot twist, same path to the fullback. Well, for that to happen on the tight end side, to be the outside veer, had to be 6-inch stick. So that the quarterback and the fullback never had to change their pant on the read. But one's the inside veer like so it's been. Now you run the outside veer to a wing, and that wing just happens to be Marty McDowell, who you better cover down the field. So he found a way to soften the coverages and one-step motions, and Marty's the pitch man on the other side. And it was just awesome to watch him put this together. And I was probably one of the most gratifying moments. He said, I want you to give me 5 minutes to go in this option. But nothing can break out. What you mean, Coach? Everything has to break in or stuff. He did not believe you could throw a ball to the sideline.
Wow.
All right, I said, I got at least 5 for you. And then, we get John Bond, and then we go on that run and beat LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, and Alabama in a row, and lose to Nebraska in the Super Bowl. But it was a great ride. John Bond, that's my guy. You talk about a kid that came out of nowhere and worked his tail off.
Coach, I'm in a mixed marriage. My wife is a Mississippi State girl, and so I'm married into a family where I've gotten schooled a lot on Mississippi State. Spent a lot of time talking about that. And one of the things I've heard people talk about with Coach Bullard is that he was a mathematical genius. When you talk about him, plotting things out on graph paper, that there was a precise nature to everything that he did and a calculated nature to what he did. And that still, we see shadows and reflections of that today in the RPO offenses and the things that are things that are around us all the time today. The wishbone still lives.
Yeah, it's definitely. When we got to Indianapolis and I started coaching Peyton, everybody was running bootleg nakeds, good hard fake. Steve DeBug, the best faker as a quarterback I've ever been around, and coached him out in Kansas City. And I took his film and said, Peyton, you got to learn to be this guy. And because he can't throw like you, but you can't fake it like him to get these guys open. And if you think about the wishbone, you got hard play action, blueberry, throwback, or reverse throwbacks. And it's all about getting the defense moving and then reversing. And don't take that little tight end in the flat thing. And let's block him if we have to. And get the ball down there where they're wide open. And it opened up for Hawkins at Indy tremendous. And then everybody tried to cop. And but Peyton became a master ball handler. And but that's all wishbone thought. Hard play action, throw it back. Hard play action, bootleg, throw it back. And but you gotta have a good running game to go with it. And Tom Moore, Shub Lifton, he is still going strong, and working with him and Indianapolis, between him and Joe Fenry, I learned more offense than most guys ever get a chance to.
Bruce, from Virginia Tech to Mississippi State and beyond, what helped you find your identity as a coach? Is it a little bit of everything, or one in particular wishbone?
Identity, tell me, would be family. Emmy taught me the value of family, that this whole thing is about family.
Yeah.
And it's really not about X's and O's, it's about the player. And we got to have them caring about each other, fighting for each other, loving each other. And so that to me was resonating with what he taught me. The X and O part, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat.
Sure.
There's a West Coast offense that everybody brags about. There's Don Corio, who I thought was genius because he put it up the field like I like to put it up the field. And, you know, that the hardcore running teams that everybody brags about, they won a couple Super Bowls. And if we're going to play the Eagles, they won the one last year. And they know it. Because we're going to stop the run. All
Yeah.
right? If your quarterback can't beat you throwing the football in 2 minutes and halftime and third down, then we got to put him in that situation. We got to make sure he plays in that situation with a lot of pressure, a lot of duress. And that's how we kind of beat him the first time pretty good. And same way in the Super Bowl, we didn't blitz that much against Patrick. Ty came up with an unbelievable pressure package where we get him out of the pocket and then start chasing him. And Eagles did a great job of copying it.
Rick?
Well, your philosophy, you know, the no risk it, no biscuit mindset became iconic. I mean, everybody knows that. Where did that boldness come from in you?
You know, that's a good one. I got very fortunate. I was a terrible player. I was a scout team quarterback for 3 years. And I learned every offense in the country. So I knew kind of ones I liked. And Charlie Pell was the best. Okay, you're playing quarterback this week. I said, so I ain't playing quarterback. They're going to hit me. No, they won't hit you. I won't let them hit you, but I want you to run this offense. All right. I would like, because you'll tear them up in practice. And then we'd sit down on Thursday night for hours. All right. What's your first 10 plays? What's the first 10 plays you call to beat me? And I'd come up with a game plan to beat him. And like, no, I got this defense. You won that one. And it was the greatest learning experience for a young coach could ever have.
Here.
Have Charlie to take you under his wing and you call plays to beat him on Thursday night with the other team's offense. You know, and then when Jimmy came in, I was actually the quarterback, but now I'm the GA and I'm Charlie's GA. And so yeah, it was such a great staff and such a great time. But everything goes back to Jimmy's head.
50 years ago, Bruce. Do you believe that? Looking back from college to winning a Super Bowl, what ties your career together? You mentioned family, players.
Family.
Yeah.
The picture that means the most to us, my son, there was only 2 people allowed on the field besides your wife because of COVID at the Super Bowl. My son and my daughter, they came on the field. We have a group hug that it just puts tears in my eyes thinking about it because we all were crying. We finally did it. And it meant so much to them because I had put them through. My daughter, I walked in and knocked on her door, Christmas Eve 3 times and said, babe, we're moving. All right. And my son got lucky. He got to stay in Starkville. Win 2 state championships, go off to college. She moved 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. Should have moved 12th grade. I moved. And she got caught in the rest bill. And for her, I think it meant more to anybody that we finally did it. And I've got it sitting on the pool table right now. I cannot find the right place to put it. And but it's a special, special picture, and it's all about family. And Tommy coming in, Gronk coming in. My wife met Tom Brady for the first time on the Super Bowl stage because of COVID.
Wow. Coach, it's fitting that we're kind of closing out talking about family. And I want to talk about something that your family has done together, the Arians Family Foundation, and just the incredible work that your foundation does for children that are caught up in the child welfare system and providing advocates for them. What inspired you and your wife to start that foundation?
Yeah, my wife was a family law attorney, She was a broken family law attorney. And after taking her fifth bar exam, after moving her for the sixth time, she said, enough's enough. I think I'm going to volunteer. Well, she had been an attorney for Kids Voice of Indiana. She got this thing, and that changed her life. And she became a big mentor at Kids Voice of Indiana. And as an assistant coach, I would try to help them get players to make a fundraiser happen, you know.
Mhm.
And then when we got the job in Arizona, like, okay, we're going to start a foundation of the work she's done, because it's way more important though when our family. I'm way more proud of Arians Family Foundation that because we raised over $10 million to help these children who are in situations through no cause. No, they're not there. It's not their cause. It's life dealt them a bad hand, and somebody's got to give them a damn good one. CASA is a good one. If you don't know what a CASA is, it's a court of women's special advocate. That's your voice. What's desired is the best thing for the child and the court system. And we got to Arizona, there were 18,000 kids in foster care. The boom had hit. I mean, it bust out there. And so we were able to start having some fundraisers and dinner. Last year, I think we kind of close to reaching the 10 million mark.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
so it's like we're going to set out this year and put a big time golf tournament together back here at the lake. And but we support Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Arizona, the Lake Country counties. And so it's, yeah, my wife actually has the top agents from six states coming, spending the weekend with her in a couple weeks. Other place off. They come and they swap all their ideas, and I just pull for the ladies to be successful because, man, these kids need our help. They need our help, and this is not their fault, man.
Yeah. Thank you for what you do.
I watched you say these guys one at a time for so long that she's still in touch with 2 or 3 from 25 years ago. And so, yeah, it's a huge job. And if you're a senior, I implore you, look into it. It's going to be the most rewarding thing you've ever done.
That's right. And they can get all the training. Like you don't have to have any experience. You don't have to. You just need to be available and be willing to be a child's voice.
That's it. All you got, and you go through your training. It's easy, simple. What you can do, what you can't do, and then you take care of that child's life, and it's in your hands. And no better place to put it than our seniors.
Thanks for sharing that, Coach.
Yeah. Bruce, what is your website?
AriansFamilyFoundation.com.
Okay.
And, trying to get it fixed up a little bit better. We haven't done much work on it in a few years, but that's where to go.
Okay. Well, this final couple minutes, I'm going to do a rapid fire series of questions for you. Okay, you ready?
Yes, indeed.
Your favorite moment in either Bryant-Denny or Legion Field?
Oh, that'd be Legion Field.
Okay.
What's that, 315?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tell us about that. 28-17 over Auburn.
That was a pretty good night. I mean, there was a lot of tension that stadium that night. And that was football at its finest.
Yeah. Lenny's run. Still on every highlight. Yeah. Yeah.
Lenny was going to outdo Bo that night.
Yeah. How about the most underrated player you coached at Alabama?
Herbie Andrews out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would have been in 97. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Andrew had a chance to be really special.
Yeah. What message do you have for today's Alabama fans?
Believe in Caleb.
Yeah.
My man's a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. All right. Last year was bad for Nick Saban. it was great for first-time Alabama head coach. All right, don't forget who he was. He was a first-year head coach at Alabama. He's not Nick Saban. All right. So look at what Ray did following coach. It wasn't great. All right. But give this guy a chance, man, because he's a winner everywhere he's ever been. I really think he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah. Thank you, Bruce, for being with us.
And I don't think Nick's coming back. So get off that. Nick feels like me. That golf course is pretty nice.
That's it.
Yeah, I want to come over and play in your tournament.
Yes, indeed.
So next summer, right?
Yeah, I think next summer.
Okay.
I'll push for spring, but I don't know if I can get those dates out of bounds. But yeah, the thunderstorms aren't as bad.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate you being with us, and we thank you for all the great memories and all the great conversation.
Oh, you bet, man. We had to do this with Sylvester back together one time.
Let's do
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. We can arrange that. Yeah,
That'd be a blast.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
hold you to it.
Yeah, for our listeners, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a fellow Tide fan. And if you want to support the next generation of Alabama legends, head over to yayalabama.com and be a part of the team off the field.